Whoa, 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 Danny, whoa, 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 whoa. Didn't see you there. Don't worry about what's going on over there. Everything is fine. It's just everything is fine. Okay, I'll be honest. It's a little bit more than just the Wild West out there. Things have gotten pretty rough. Now that we're at the end of May, this marks the halfway point, 6 of 12 months of 2020. And I feel it's the end of the beginning of the end. So let's see where we went when we had a big conflict with the US and Iran, wildfires in Australia, the start of COVID-19, and the death of a great basketball star. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that's been going on. So the first part is a more neutral part. The Pentagon UFO footage. So apparently the Pentagon released footage of UFOs, and they said that they don't know what they are, they're completely unidentified, and they've been declassified and released recently. Now, nobody knows if this is true, nobody knows if this is false, but it's interesting to think, because I wonder if there is more UFO sightings due to the fact that the aliens might see how we're faring this. Huge murder hornets are invading the US and Canada and killing honeybees. They can grow up to 2 inches long, and how they kill honeybees is they can actually bite the heads off of honeybees because of their size. I can't even talk about the white fucking with me, can I? Excuse me. Perfect. Trump suggests injecting Lysol to cure coronavirus. He later says that this was a joke. Trump says he is taking hydroxychloroquine as well. Schools in Ontario, Canada, or at least in Toronto where I live, are closed until at least beginning of next school year, which is September. So they could be closed even longer. The US is beginning to reopen. To me, this is frightening. They still have the highest number of cases and the highest number of deaths, but they still want to reopen early. There's a COVID-19, a scary condition linked to COVID-19 in children. Fever of at least 100.4 for at least 24 hours, severe illness requiring hospitalization, inflammatory markers and blood tests, and evidence of problems affecting at least 2 organs that could include the heart, kidneys, lungs, skin, or other nervous system. There was a 15-year-old boy shot in a suspected drive-by shooting in Jane and Finch, and that happened when there was, I think, about 4 shootings in one night. So there was also that shooting at a just reopened mall in Phoenix, Arizona. I found that to be quite incredible news, because not only did it only reopen, but they were able to apprehend the suspect, and later found out that they said that his motive was he felt bullied by the people he was targeting in the shooting. Shootings and gun violence in the US has still not gone down after stay-at-home orders, even higher in some places. Businesses in the US begin to reopen. Trump demands that churches reopen. Worldwide COVID cases reach 5 million. People in Ontario still not social distancing. I was watching some live streams, like people doing IRL live streams in the US, and they show that people in the US are also still not social distancing after all this has happened, and are not practicing other safety guidelines such as masks or any kind of protective wear. Brazil has one of the highest infection rates. President does not want to close the economy because he thinks closing the economy will do more harm than it will good, and that the better thing would just be to let the virus run its course. He does not want to acknowledge any responsibility either. He blames health ministers and media for COVID-19 crisis. More ticks and Lyme disease in Canada's future as well, apparently, as we're climbing closer to the summer season. People were not social distancing at Trinity Bellwoods Park in Toronto. Toronto, Ontario cases are rising as a result of things like this. Toronto rapper Houdini identified as a victim in daylight shooting in Toronto. Brazil's most populous state eyes reopening businesses in June. COVID-19 in Ontario is now primarily a Toronto problem. Figures show more than 76% of the province's new infections are from the GTA. Ontario long-term care homes in scathing report could face charges. Military members went in to investigate dozens of unhygienic, dangerous practices. The list of allegations includes repeated use of repeated use of medical equipment in between COVID-19 patients who have not tested positive without being disinfected, and proper use of personal protective equipment by staff and doctors, staff reusing gloves or not washing hands, staff being aggressive with patients during medical procedures, residents calling for help with no response for up to 2 hours, the presence of insects including ants and cockroaches. Ontario fails to meet its own COVID-19 testing target for 4th straight day. Doug Ford pledges more random testing. Death of Canadian Forces member in snowbird's crash. The death of Captain Jennifer Casey in Canadian snowbird's crash is just the latest blow for Nova Scotia and the Canadian military. Twitter tags Trump tweet with fact-check warning. A third of U.S. adults have signs of anxiety or depression due to COVID-19. 1 in 5 teachers say they're unlikely to go back to schools even if they reopen in fall, and 6 to 10 parents would likely continue at-home education. Asymptomatic COVID-19 cases may be more common than suspected. Magnitude 4.1 earthquake hits outside of Fresno, 82 miles from Gardnerville, Ranchos, Nevada. Giant new locust swarms hit East Africa. Millions of locusts hit Ethiopia, Somalia, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. They are now breeding in Kenya and Ethiopia due to large amounts of rain. Cyclone Amphan hits eastern India's coastline, hugest cyclone in 20 years, forcing India and Bangladesh to evacuate millions of people. Winds reached 100 miles per hour, caused huge amounts of damage, knocking down trees and damaging metal roofs. In Bangladesh, riverbanks overflowed. It was caused by high sea temperatures. Sandstorm in Niamey, Niger. Large plumes of sand appear to be hundreds of meters high. Another sandstorm hits Egypt, following a huge rain and windstorm. Israel braces for impact. 6.5 earthquake hits Tonopah. 5.0 magnitude earthquake hits China's Yunnan province. Massive dust storms in Delhi caused temperatures to plummet. The region was also hit by heavy thunderstorms. New Zealand earthquake. The 5.9 magnitude earthquake hit 30 kilometers northwest of Leven, a town about an hour's drive north from the capital at a depth of 37 kilometers. Why I left this point for last is because this may not be the most controversial part of the video. I'm not doing this to look good or to try to gain any popularity. But to talk about the world news that's happened this month, I do have to mention the George Floyd news. I will try my best to say just the pure situation without putting my personal opinion into it. George Floyd, an African-American man, had an encounter with police where he was held down by a police officer with a knee to the pavement, where he protested that he couldn't breathe. None of the 4 police officers did anything to help, and he later died because he couldn't breathe. The cops were fired. One of the cops were fired and arrested, and they're still hunting for the other ones. This set into motion many heated protests, and in a way, rightfully so. Some of these protests became quite violent and included some looting events as well. Because of this, Donald Trump threatened to start shooting at the protesters. At the current moment, the government of Minneapolis is talking about how they are trying to peacefully end the more violent protests. So, now we get on to the personal part of the video. I know that this video is already, according to my camera, long, but we're going to be here for a while because I have a lot to talk about for this month. A lot of personal stuff. So, first, this one is more of a mix of personal and world news. So, U.S. election already looks grim for the Democrat side. I was in a text chat somewhere with someone who is literally saying we should have communism, and he still doesn't approve of Joe Biden. He thinks we should vote for Trump. This does not paint a pretty picture. School shut down. I miss friends and teachers. I feel like I don't have the support I need. I need hard to work from home. I've had a lot of trouble with this. I've actually stopped doing schoolwork because I've been so stressed about this. I wasn't able to give my people in my school contact information, so I'm probably never going to see them again. That's very sad. I've had to help out some of my friends this month. They've been feeling pretty lonely and depressed during this time, and I've been trying my best to help them out. I'm losing hope. I'm really losing hope. I feel like I'm never going to be able to achieve my goals that I wanted to because of this, like job goals, future stuff. I feel like all this delay is just going to stop me from obtaining my goals and achieving things. Doubting the future will be any better. I feel like this is going to go on for years. Some people say that this is going to go on for 2 years or more, which I think is very possible. Scared of what everything is going to look like after. Even after we're done this, the world is going to be a lot different, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to cope to all the new stuff that's going to be changed. So, this is something really personal. This is going to go into my rant about not social distancing and all the practices that people have been doing this month. I'm kind of on the fence about believing this is the end of the world, but this shit going on in the world, like people not social distancing, brings one quote to mind. A fire broke out backstage in a theater. The clown came out to warn the public. They thought it was a joke and applauded. He repeated it. The acclaim was even greater. I think that's just how the world will end. To general applause from wits who think it was a joke. Soren Kierkegaard. It's terrifying how close this is to the truth. People all think this COVID-19 stuff is not a big deal. It's a joke, it's whatever. And I feel like that quote rings really close to home about what's going on. This is where I'm gonna take the video and probably make it the longest. I'm going away from structure now, and this is an open rant. Why are we not social distancing? Okay, hear me out. So, all this stuff happened in the US. The world cases have now reached 5 million, everywhere it's been going up, and it's not stopped. Now countries are thinking about reopening. And after all of this stuff is happening, people are still not practicing social safety measures, and they're just making this thing worse. So I think that this stuff is just going to keep going. And people have to start taking this seriously. They have to start social distancing. They have to start practicing safe measures. They have to start using personal protective equipment in events where they can't. And this is happening everywhere. People need to start doing something. I'm tired of this, guys. Let's fix this. There's going to be no more of this, because this is just going to go on. Another thing that I keep hearing is, oh, there's going to be a second wave. Well, you know what? The first wave isn't over. The first wave is not over, so there can't be a second wave if the first one is not even over. So yeah, if you're going to say a second wave, just say it's going to go back up, because this is all one wave, because people are not taking this seriously. So I hope people start taking this seriously so we don't have more deaths and we don't have more of this stuff happening, because it's really starting to get scary and we're going to have to close everything down again. I guess that's it. I guess that's it for my little rant. I don't know if it really means anything to you guys, but that's what I'm going to say. That's it. We're screwed. It's the end of the beginning of the end, and things are about to get a lot more rough from here, it seems. Even for me, my friends, my personal life. That's it. Now, I gotta head out. If you feel like you're going crazy, well, welcome to my world. Let's all go crazy together. I'm going into the danger zone. See you all next time, folks. Yeah!